The Oklahoma Sooners are addressing their needs in the transfer portal with guys that will make an immediate impact. And the Sooners just landed another portal commitment this morning. We got to talk about what kind of impact Dezjhon Malone is going to have on this defense. I'm going to give you guys a couple points around that as well. But before we dive into it, guys, thank you for tuning into the PG show where, listen, I talk about all things college football. So you're going to make sure you want to tune in for that. Do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to bring you guys great content. You guys know Oklahoma's my team, so I show them a little bit more love. But we got some other exciting content coming up, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So Oklahoma, listen, they improved under year 2 with Brent Venables, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You went from 6-7 as a total record to 10-2, and you saw an improvement on the defense. Now, the defense was not elite. It was elite at times, but it was not elite. But it also was not at the bottom like it was during your 6-7 year where, listen, you didn't have the competitive depth, and you were just giving up big chunk plays that ended up hurting you. So with that being said, this staff is trying to carry this momentum of this program going into the SEC, and they're going to do that by bringing in more elite talent. And not only do you do that through the recruiting trail, but listen, you got to go hit the transfer portal, and you got to get dudes that can play, and you got to get dudes that can be immediate impact makers. And by the way, the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco is being that dude. He found David Njoku again for a second touchdown, helping my fantasy out. All right. Sorry. That was my ADHD brain getting distracted. But I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are on the latest portal acquisitions for Oklahoma. Now, here's the deal. I don't want to hear any more complaining about Oklahoma having small corners that cannot compete, right? Y'all aren't allowed to talk about that anymore because Oklahoma, I feel like Jay Valai and this staff, they've heard y'all complain. They understand. And Brent Venables and the staff just landed their second portal commitment, and they bring in a guy that has played a ton of football in redshirt junior Dezjhon Malone from San Diego State. Now, to circle back up to my original comment about how you're not allowed to complain anymore about Oklahoma having small corners, because if you think 6'2", 200 pounds is a small corner, we got problems. Let's fight. Brent Venables, and with this commitment, you assume that the writing's kind of on the wall. You assume Brent Venables and Woody Washington have had that conversation about maybe him leaving for the NFL draft. So you can read the tea leaves. Oklahoma's out there recruiting corners. They get a guy out of the transfer portal that has had significant production, plays at an elite level, and that's really what Dezjhon Malone is. He's an elite corner, and we'll dive into that here in just a second. But you would assume that means Woody Washington's leaving for the NFL draft. And if he's not, Lord help the SEC, because if you're Oklahoma, your safety room is absolutely stacked. Billy Bowman, Peyton Bowen, Robert Spears-Jennings. It's going to be hard. Then you add in an experienced cornerback room with Dezjhon Malone, Gentry Williams, Woody Washington. Yeah, Lord help the SEC. But we'll have to see exactly what Woody Washington's decision is going to be. So Dez Malone, a 6'2", 200-pound. Here's my deal. I look at Dez, and I look at some of the film, and I look at the game footage, and he's got a great frame, and he's got really good length. And you need that to be able to compete in the SEC with those talented wide receivers that, quite frankly, you're going to be seeing for probably the next 15, 20 years. So this is a start of what you would expect to see from your corners at Oklahoma. Great size, great frame, physical. He's a very physical cornerback. If you watch the film, he's not afraid to get in there and push the wide receivers around a little bit, but he also can drop back in coverage. So why is this transfer so impactful for Oklahoma? Why am I excited about it? Why is OU excited about this guy? Well, he brings in a ton of experience to a room that has a lot of talent, but is really inexperienced. Here's what I mean by this. Gentry Williams, Makari Vickers. Remember, Makari Vickers was a freshman this year. So was Josiah Wagner. You got in Kendall Dolby from JUCO, but this was his first real year playing at a Power 5 program. So, yeah, like he's coming into the SEC with a little bit more experience, but also you're going to see Kendall Dolby more at the cheetah position. Jacoby Johnson, Day McCullough, Jaden Rowe, Kenai Walker. Yeah. So you're bringing in Dez Malone, who has 23 starts, 1,150 snaps at cornerback. That is high production. 89 total tackles, 68 solos, 12 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. That's the kind of guy you're getting. That's the kind of guy you want to go get out of the portal. Obviously, you need your fillers. You need the guys that are going to be able to provide depth that maybe aren't your starters. But if you're going to go out there and grab a starter, this is what you're looking for. Brenton Venables and Jay Valai, they just painted you a picture. So, second point, when you watch Malone, he plays very well in zone coverage using that length that he has. This was the problem for Oklahoma this season. If you all remember, we would talk about the Oklahoma defense, and although the defensive line play was a lot better, your biggest problem was in the passing game, because when you decided that you had to play zone coverage, teams were just beating you up. They were passing the ball all over the place, and that's exactly what Oklahoma State did. So he's going to potentially help fix that issue. And again, as I said earlier, he's going to play with wide receivers really well. He's going to excel in dropping back into that zone coverage, but when he needs to play man and get up on that wide receiver, he's going to be physical enough to play a little bit of bully ball. So as we talked about just a minute ago, this makes it appear that Woody Washington is likely leaving for the NFL. And if not, you're getting Dez, retaining Woody, and you're going to get Gentry Williams in this room, along with some of the younger guys like Makari Vickers. Now, it's important to note that guys like Makari Vickers are a little bit of a two-way player, right? They can play safety and they can play corner. So, regardless how you look at it, this cornerback room is in good hands. They're going to be talented. There shouldn't be any need for Oklahoma fans to worry too much about the corners going into the SEC. Now, this isn't a huge transfer portal update video, but I figured, listen, might as well go ahead and talk about it. Some other guys that we're watching, we're monitoring. I know there's been a lot of names thrown out there, but this is just a list of guys that I've compiled that said, hey, like, you know, I think these are good guys that Oklahoma really has a shot for. Florida defensive tackle transfer Chris McCullen. I don't think Oklahoma has a super good shot for safety Andrew Makuba, but I think it all depends on how does he want to be used in the defense. I think I saw something out there on Twitter about how maybe he would be used as more of a cheetah here at Oklahoma than a safety, which you look at his production at Clemson, he would be an excellent cheetah for Brenton Venables and the staff. But he was on campus this weekend, so we'll have to kind of follow up and see how that one went. South Carolina running back Mario Anderson, North Texas offensive lineman Fabici, it's Nwewu. And then you have Michigan State offensive lineman Gino Vandemark, teammates with Spencer Brown, who you just got the commitment from this week. And then Arizona State tight end Jalen Conyers, former Oklahoma Sooners player, Notre Dame tight end Holden Stays. Not in the portal yet, but everybody's kind of watching this. They're going to be watching for after the bowl game to see exactly what happens. Texas A&M defensive lineman David Hicks. So as the Sooners and Brenton Venables to continue to throw out offers, move in the transfer portal, get commitments. We're going to try to keep you guys up to date as possible. So make sure you're hitting that like, you're hitting that subscribe button, you're joining the discussion. Let me know what you guys think about Oklahoma's 2 most recent portal acquisitions. And here's the deal. YouTube wants you guys to watch one of these videos. So how about you tune into one of those? And we're going to see you guys next time.